What's up guys, ProdiJay here and welcome to the third episode of Setup Tour Showdown, where I review the setups you guys sent me and give my feedback. And be sure to watch to the very end for a special announcement. Now for today's setups, they're from Amir, Alvaro, Oscar, Parker, and Joao. Thank you for submissions guys, as I very much appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now starting off, we got Amir in his clean gaming setup from England, and might I just say that his setup definitely looks good with the blue and purple color scheme. So Amir is rocking a single Samsung monitor setup, which is alright because his desk does seem a bit small. But speaking of the desk, it's a black IKEA Mecha desk. Now I do recommend buying from IKEA when it comes to buying these, but I definitely would recommend getting a bigger size here. Moving on to peripherals, his keyboard, mouse, and headset are all from Logitech, and for his Mousemat, he is using the SteelSeries Quick Prism. Now moving on to PC specs, he said he's rocking an Intel i5-2500, 8GB of RAM, and a GTX 1050 Ti. Now I do wish he left all of his specs for his PC, but he did mention that this was his first budget gaming PC that he built, so good for him. And for the cable management, I like how everything is hidden underneath the desk tucked away. I mean, there's not much to say except I'm not a fan of the long headset cable, but overall I really like this setup for the nice color scheme and for the simple style. Next up we got Alvaro. Alvaro is a full-time college student and mainly uses his setup for gaming and schoolwork. And first look at the setup, although it might be a small space, he does manage to add a fair amount of personality to the setup and at the same time maintain a clean color theme overall. But getting to the equipment, he's rocking a single 27-inch 240Hz Alienware monitor. Moving on to peripherals, he is using a Ducky Mecha mini keyboard with matrix keycaps, a Razer Viper Ultimate mouse, and he is using an extended RGB mousepad from Lux Comms. And out of all of this, I think the keyboard is quite interesting. And finally, he uses the Corsair Void Pro wireless headset. Now moving on to PC specs, he has quite the overpowered build, rocking a 2080 Ti, an i9-9900K CPU running at 5GHz and 32GB of Corsair Vengeance RAM. And he did leave a note saying that he normally gets over 240 FPS while gaming. But overall, I really like how this setup was done and would just recommend possibly getting a better desk. Moving on, we got Oscar in his workshop of a setup. Like legit, I was quite surprised looking at this setup because of everything going on here, from his nice equipment to his guitar collection. But getting to this setup, he has a 25-inch Alienware monitor, and above that I assume is just a TV he uses for a second display, probably for watching videos. His keyboard is a SteelSeries Apex M750 and uses the Logitech G502 for his mouse. For audio, he is rocking the Sennheiser HD569 closeback headphones, and for his speakers, he uses the Micke Studio monitors. And just looking at the equipment so far, you can just tell that he doesn't really lack quality in any area. And mind you, Oscar is only 16 years old, so this setup is pretty insane for his age. Oscar also uses a Rode NT1 condenser microphone powered by his Focusrite Scarlett audio interface. So moving on to his PC specs, his PC includes an RTX 2060 GPU, a Ryzen 2600X CPU, 16GB of DDR4 RAM clocked at 3000 MHz, and all of that good stuff. But overall, I really like this whole setup because it's basically a studio, and surprisingly, despite the amount of equipment Oscar owns, he did a good job of managing the space so it was organized and not too cluttered. Nearing the end, we got Parker coming from Texas. Now unlike the others, Parker's setup is more on the simple side compared to the flashy RGB setups that we've seen, but it's alright to not have a flashy setup. But with that out of the way, Parker's main setup uses dual scepter monitors, with both monitors being curved, and up top he has the 40-inch Magnavox TV. And might I just say that I like the fact that he has Wizard 101 loaded on one monitor, because in the past I used to play that game a crap ton when I was younger. But moving on to the peripherals, he has a Razer Synosa Chroma keyboard, which is the same keyboard that I use actually. And then for the mouse, he uses the wireless Logitech G602, and both of those are on his HyperX Fury mousepad. And for this case, I think it was a good idea to use a wireless mouse, as you don't need to worry about having that one extra cord. Plus, the wireless mouse that he is using is lag-free. Now for audio, he uses the Razer Kraken X headset, uses Logitech Z207 speakers, and for his microphone, he uses the Blue Yeti Nano. And I do want to say that I like how there's enough room for the equipment because of how big his desk is, which it kind of confuses me that his headset is underneath in his cabinet, which I think definitely needs to be cleaned out so there's only his PC. But speaking of his PC, he's rocking a GTX 1070 GPU, an Intel Core i7-7700 CPU, and 16GB of DDR4 RAM. And now for the cable management, underneath it looks kinda alright, but I do wish that it was more neater since the cords are kinda balled up. And up top, behind the monitors, I do think Parker needs to use cable ties or get his hands hands on some cable sleeves so the cords are more together. But besides the cable management, I think the setup looks good overall, but I would possibly recommend getting a plant of some kind just to mix things up slightly. And then last but not least, we got João coming all the way from Portugal. But off the bat, I just want to say that he definitely killed it in the quality of his photos, and this is probably because his main hobby is photography. But getting to the setup, I do like how he went with a Game of Thrones theme, using pop vinyls from the show and using a snowy type wallpaper. But moving on to his equipment, he's using a single 22-inch BenQ monitor that he set up on a monitor stand, uses the Matrix Blade as his mechanical keyboard, Logitech G502 for the mouse, and finally uses Logitech Z33 speakers. And I like how he used a Velcro tie to tie his keyboard and mouse cords together, but I don't know if he has enough room to move his mouse depending on his sensitivity. But moving on to PC specs, he's rocking an RTX 2060, a Ryzen 7 2700, and 16GB of DDR4 G-Skill RAM clocked at 3200 MHz. So with PC specs way better than mine, I'm pretty sure he gets fantastic FPS in games and could probably actually run solitaire. And I do gotta say that the RGB lighting from the PC looks pretty dope. And for the cable management, I just gotta give him props because he made sure that his cords were all together, and I don't think I could really recommend anything here except to maybe use cable sleeves to make it look kinda better. But overall, I really love this setup, especially for the RGB lighting from his lamp and PC, as it does help bring everything together in my opinion. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for episode 3 of Setup Tour Showdown, and I want to say thanks again to everyone featured in this episode because this video wouldn't be up without you guys. And if you want to submit your setups to be featured in this series, be sure to watch my submission guide video in the description to learn how you can enter. And I cannot stress enough that you have to follow all of the rules, because I have received many submissions from you guys, but a majority of them are not eligible because they did not follow all of the guidelines. So if you do enter, make sure to follow all of the rules. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, drop a like and subscribe if you want me to continue on this series. Also, if you guys can, comment down below whose setup was your favorite, and comment down below what you liked and disliked about the setups. For me personally, I don't have a particular favorite, but I do like certain aspects from each setup, so leave your thoughts down below. Also, if you guys can, come join my Discord and link down below, as I do love talking to my fans. Also, I have a huge announcement for you guys. For my next video, after a long awaited 4 years and counting, I will actually be doing a face reveal Q&A. And trust me, this is no joke, I will actually be doing my face reveal. And honestly, I'm quite excited for this because I've been holding out for so long to do this. But yeah, I will be doing a Q&A face reveal for my next video. So if you guys can, in the comment section, drop me some questions to answer in my next video. And if you follow me on Twitter, which you definitely should, I will also be taking questions there. And I would ask that you guys try and ask me some creative ones, as I wouldn't really want to answer some super basic questions. So yeah, if you want to ask me anything, drop me your questions along with hashtag ProdiJay Q&A, and you'll get a chance to have your question featured. But anyways guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to have notifications on so you won't miss any of my videos. My name's ProdiJay, and as always, stay classy.